sure to check out American Red Cross. They're calling all Tetris fans. We have teamed up. Oh, we're ready. All right. Here we go. In a 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Yeah. Do I have enough time to read that? The answer was no. Let's get it going here.
And here we go. Signature 1 push down point there for Sidnev as Birb Wizard. Weird. It feels weird to call you Birb Wizard, honestly, because you're a real person. Over the internet, it's okay, but like if you're right next to me and I can see you, to call you the Birb Wizard is a bit strange.
Well, I mean, yeah, it hasn't ever gotten less strange. Like sometimes I'll accidentally be, people will be like, oh, what's the name again? I'm like, oh, I'll like say my real name, be like, oh, wait, sorry, no, nobody knows me by that.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah, what were you actually? Where were you going with that?
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, as the Birb Wizard mentioned before, Sidnev obviously world finalist last year around, had an epic matchup against Fractal where I was watching that obviously about 3 a.m. over in Europe, and obviously cheering on, finally getting a European champion, and that Fractal really gave me so much hope, as Sidnev obviously went up 2 games to 0, and then of course Fractal started doing Fractal things and took home his first world title. But Sidnev, one of the best players, has been one of the best players for years now, always knocking on the doorstep of being the best player in the world, and her challenge today is going to be taking down Opaux, another player who's been around for years at this point. It's weird. I've known these guys basically since they've been up-and-coming players, and now at this point I can say they're CTWC veterans. Guys like Opaux and Sidnev got multiple years under their belt. But yeah, Opaux, a player who's been a top player for many years and is going to be a challenge here for Sidnev to try and overcome to book a spot in the top 16.
Yeah, I mean, they're not up-and-comers anymore. None of these guys are. They are no longer up-and-comers. They're here. They are here. They are the now, as Quaid said yesterday, right? He is the now. Well, or so he says anyway. But anyway, we are having off to a nice start here for all 4 of our players. 193 for Dillan, 218 for Koster up on the top, so it is a tight one there. Meanwhile, at the bottom, also a tight one. 259 for Opaux, 258 here for Sidnev.
Yeah, right now, Koster at the top, building left well. Seems pretty happy to just continue going with it. Might look for an opportunity for a 0 burn or 1 burn well transfer, but at the moment, just content to keep burning. Does have a hole on his board, which he's going to have to deal with. It's almost even scores here between Dillan and Koster at the top. At the bottom, Sidnev enjoying a 1 Tetris lead here over Opaux. Opaux, a little bit of complications at the top, but 2 J pieces going to come in very handy there. A little bit of a drought here forming as both players awaiting the bar. Tetris ready, but there's the bar for the Tetris.
We are just carrying on here, and again, these guys doing some really good things. Excuse me, making really good decisions. Making calculated risks here. We have a lot of these overhang setups, like you just saw from. Like you just saw from Opaux there. Certainly, wanted to make sure not going for anything too crazy that that he needed exact pieces to be able to resolve. You kind of want to set up overhangs that have lots of options, and Opaux certainly did that. And he is maintaining a nice clean board state. He is at 405, 422 the score for Sidnev. Meanwhile, at the top, it is still neck and neck, 361 to 365. It is the Koster with the lead, as both players have just survived a nice healthy drought and got a Tetris apiece.
Yeah, at the top here, obviously, as mentioned before, both players tapping. It's like seeing 2 Blackberries in the year 2015. The device, which used to be the new and cool thing, has now become a little bit more rare, but these 2, absolutely 2 of the very best tappers around, and you need to be making CTWC Gold bracket in 2024. Right now, Koster at 481, Dillan at 457, Sidnev at the bottom, still enjoying this lead. Opaux has been building on row 3 and seems content to just keep it going, though it doesn't have too many lines there. Opaux tops out at 479, had one misdrop, and everything else hung on that, and Opaux gonna give away game 1.
Man, if you're Sidnev, you certainly take those, right? Oh my word. It was just that was like a burrito data top out right there. You just with how ridiculous some of those hangs were, right? My goodness. Yeah, we're gonna take a minute up on the bottom there. Well, that's kind of contradictory to say up on the bottom, but you know, here we are in 2024 making new phrases. But no, 579 here the score for Koster. Add a Tetris into transition 603. 554 is the score for Dillan. That is spelled with an I. Of course, if he can win this match, he will. You know, Tugi, if he can win this match, he will prove that his way of spelling the name Dillan is supreme over that of Dillan Armstrong, you know, with a Y, right? If he can advance further than Dillan did, or win more games, rather, than Dillan did.
Absolutely. As we know, CTWC placements, the definitive proof of a human being in 2024.
They sure are. Oh, man. Tugi couldn't even finish the bit, but here we go. Tetris Dillan. We'll go to 638 as we get set. Oh, we are not getting set to continue at the bottom. Here we go. A hat coming on. Yeah, gotta have the hat from Sidnev. But meanwhile, at the top, we are continuing on 759 to 664. As we got some relatively clean boards on level 21, as now we are good to go on the bottom in 3, 2, 1, Tetris.
So off on the way here on the bottom. Meanwhile, at the top, Koster still enjoying this lead. In fact, has grown it. Bit of a tough board here. Could really use lots and lots of T pieces. Now has a long bar dependency, which he's going to have to fill in. And the long bar is really taking time. There you go. Able to get the long bar for a dirty Tetris. But most importantly, misdrops the Z piece. And another dead drop there of the T piece. And Koster in major trouble at 818. Needs to survive, and he's going to be done. And Dillan, all the way down at the bottom, just needs a 53,000 point chase down, needs to get to 819,000, and has all the time in the world to get this done.
Yeah, wow, that was certainly a tough situation to try and tap out of. Just did not get what he needed, and now it is just less than a Tetris the difference here. And Dillan is going to look to make up. You see a smile forming on his face. He knows he's got all night. Almost there. A few burns will do it. 5,000 points.
There you go. Dillan content to Freeman his way to victory. Just a couple more burns. Just one more line, and the line out is complete. Dillan going to be able to take game number 1 over Koster. Koster leading throughout most of that game, but just a tough sequence there, taking him out and leaving the door wide open for Dillan to take game number 1. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Opaux here enjoying a lead as Sidnev setting up here on column 9. Well, now we'll see what she's going to do. Is she going to go for a Tetris, or is she just going to take the single burn?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and burn with there with that
Thank
T.
God.
Yeah, definitely a smart play here. You know, with the game being pretty close, definitely don't want to go too crazy, going aggressive, especially this early on in the game, especially after your opponent is already giving you a gift, and actually maybe on the gift of giving another one here, on the verge rather of giving another one, as we get set to go on the top. 3, 2, 1, Tetris.
So Opaux here, slowly but surely, just burning this down. T-piece for the left side would be perfect. A J and an L piece in that sequence will do the trick as well. And there you go, Opaux gonna be able to survive. Sidnev, though, was able to take a 1.5 Tetris lead now. Currently at 219,000. Gets another Tetris, goes up to 242.
Koster was at the trouble there at the top. Hung in a J piece rather, right? Just a few rows off from the top there, but fortunately was able to get another bar, was able to get this down. And I like that burn too there with the L piece. Certainly clever burn. Gonna help keep this manageable. Oh my goodness. Koster just making some really quick decisions there, and just like that, his board is nice and clean. My goodness.
Koster doing well there. Not going to spend too much time burning that down. Is only behind by less than a Tetris for the moment. And both players clean right now at the top. Meanwhile, at the bottom, Opaux getting a well-needed S-piece for the left side to try and build it out. Sidnev, though, just cruising at the moment. 362 here for Sidnev, enjoying about a 3 Tetris lead here over Opaux at the moment. But both players playing clean. In fact, all 4 players playing pretty clean. But just as I say that, Koster, a little bit of issue. Thankfully, JP's going to show up early, but now has a Lombard dependency, which doesn't really want to have to deal with, so he plugs it up, and now just has to take a couple more burns.
Yeah, just a few more burns required here for Koster. Try and get out of this mess, and actually, looking like might set up down the middle. He's going to do just that. And there we go. Tetris coming in for Koster towards that right side of the board. Dillan matching that will maintain just shy of a 1 Tetris lead. And on the bottom, we are approaching the 19 transition. We got about 30 lines to go. It is 4:31 here for Sidnev. 396 the score for Opaux.
At the moment, at the top, Dillan here really would love a J piece. Okay, he's going to get the J, but needs to build out his left side. A little bit problem. L or J needed, gets the L piece. And gonna get another Tetris, drawing about a 1 Tetris lead here. At the bottom, Sidnev, 481. Nice adjustment there to get the square tuck in. And both players playing clean at the moment. Approaching level 19, running into a drought now. Sidnev set up for a tuck.
Yeah, both players dicey here at the bottom. Yes, Bars just refusing to show up. Players like Gandhi Bars, game says go fish. Finally one shows, but Sidnev is able to use it, but not Opaux. So that is going to allow her to build up a bit of a lead here with 10 lines left to the transition.
But Opaux here forced to build a Lombard dependency on the left. Doesn't get the long bar over, and Opaux is going to be done. And Sidnev into a 2-0 advantage.
Yeah, that's another early top out here from Opaux. Really just uncharacteristic. Definitely not what we're used to see. And perhaps some of that fatigue coming in, like we were talking about in some of the earlier matches. These live tournaments, they are no joke.
Absolutely. Single matches, it's not just playing Tetris for 5 games in a row or whatever. It's obviously huge mental, you need so much mental energy to try and keep up here. It's the World Championships, it's high pressure. It's the one event where you want to get it right. It's the one weekend where you want to bring your best. So it is tiring and can be difficult to manage, especially as we get into the later hours of the day.
Yeah, but in the meantime, up at the top, we got our players starting to approach transition there as well. We got 370 to 431. It is Dillan with the lead. And again, he's up 1-0 in the series, so certainly looking to take advantage here and bring us to a 2-0 lead going into game 3. But meanwhile, we are all good to go on the bottom. So let us count them down in a 3, a 2, a 1, a Tetris.
So meanwhile at the top, Koster here is going to set up left well once again. And looks like we had a false start there at the bottom, so we're just going to redo that.
Right, we'll just edit that out in post, right?
Yeah, that's
Obviously.
fine. That's fine.
Well,
that
actually,
never happened.
For once I could say that for real, right? It'll actually happen. But anyways, here we go. 3, a 2, 1, a Tetris. Right, usually I say we'll edit something out in post, but, and I say that as a joke, because, I'm not going to actually do that, right? It's, it's like for friendlies or whatever, who cares, right?
Hey,
but something like this, wait a minute, that might actually happen, so.
Hey, Birb, what are you talking about there? This was the first attempt at game number 3. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, no, nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened. At the top at the moment, Koster still dealing with the remnants of this left well setup. Could use the T-piece for a tuck. Is going to do exactly that. He's going to set up for a dirty Tetris, and thankfully the bar shows up in time. Risky play there for Koster, especially as he's just a couple of lines away from the 19 transition. There you go. Going to get the Tetris on the left side for the transition. It's just going to transfer it back over with a single. Now needs to build on his left side.
Yeah, there we go. Dillan will now join that transition at 640. But, oh my goodness, on the bottom in the meantime, Sidnev's got some really rough-looking pieces floating around there right now. So she's got to get herself back into scoring position here pretty quickly, but luckily all the holes are on the same row, so luckily could, if she wants to, build on top of all of them.
Yeah, knowing Sidnev, I think that's exactly what she's going to do, especially so early on 18. Okay, he's going to take a Tetris there, which is going to uncover one of the holes, so that's going to be helpful there with eventually bringing it down as efficiently as possible. This would be a perfect hole uncovering, rather. There you go, Tetris there for Sidnev. Very nicely done. It's just going to take a single with that bar and back down clean at the bottom. Meanwhile, at the top, things are heating up. Both players on level 21, 720,000 here for Koster, 800,000 here for Dillan. Dillan looking to take a 2-0 advantage, setting up a Z-tuck. Nicely done there for Dillan. This is a very strong pace here for Dillan. This is the type of pace that you aim for 1.3 with. So very strong here for Dillan.
Yeah, Dillan is absolutely cooking right now on an 83% Tetris rate. Another Tetris bringing it up to 84. And more importantly, has opened up a 100,000 point lead here over the Koster. Yeah, they're just both sending them back and forth at this point. So some of these earlier Tetrises here from Dillan, again with some more limited 29 play available for tappers, may end up making all the difference here.
Yeah, and the thing is, Koster is having quite a solid pace here himself. In fact, a very good one, actually, but is still finding himself behind. But he's doing the right thing. He just keeps Tetrising and putting as much pressure on Dillan to try and maintain this blistering pace. 977 here for Dillan, is about to max out into 25. There you go, Tetris for Dillan. Max out at 191 lines here. Koster about to max out himself on level 25.
Tuck there from Dillan too. Koster with a Tetris here into 26, 995. Meanwhile, Dillan is just absolutely sending it here. She's waiting on another bar into 26. There's one right there. There's the Tetris, just one Tetris off from 1.1. And there we go, 1.1 million the score for Dillan. We're going to see what he can do here. I mean, as you mentioned, on some pretty hot pace, for like 1.3.
Absolutely. He's got 2 burns available here for a 1.3 into kill screen, which is still a monster game here. Obviously, the players nowadays can get scores way beyond that, but into 29 still requires excellent efficiency, and Koster here needs to try and stay clean and try and maybe do some magic here post 29, but at 1.1 at the moment, but behind by 100,000 points. Dillan going for this 1.3, has 1 burn available. If he gets the remaining 2 Tetrises, he is going to 1.3 into 29. There you go, bar there for Dillan.
Meanwhile, Koster going into 29 at 1.2. Dillan gonna try and light this out here as long as possible. Koster on 30 here. Oh my goodness. Dillan about to get 1.3. There's 1.3 for Dillan. And he has taken the 2-0 lead. Surviving long enough in what has been an absolutely electric set so far. It is Dillan with the 2-0 lead.
And Dillan here still squeaking out lines. He's made level 31 and he's tapping.
Oh
my Christ.
Wow. That is, if you needed proof that Tap can still compete, that is it right there. 1.3 million. Barely any 29 required.
Well, I'd say I don't really need reminding of that tappers can still compete at CTWC.
Well, okay, yeah, that's right. You don't need that reminder.
Yeah.
For
Shout
the
out
fans,
to Aaron.
right? For the fans out there, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, goodness. All right, meanwhile, at the bottom here, right, some crazy finishes up at the top. Meanwhile, at the bottom, we are approaching the 19 transition here. Sidnev on the verge of a sweep here, 589 to 535. We're on the 19 speed, and off we run.
All right, both players clean at the moment. They are within striking distance of each other, so it's going to come down to this post-transition play and potentially beyond. Okay, we're ready to go at the top for game number 3 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris! And meanwhile, at the bottom, Opaux getting the long bar over towards the left side, getting another Tetris here. Sidnev still maintaining this lead, is ahead by just over 1 Tetris at the moment. 695 here for Sidnev, 662 here for Opaux. Both players playing clean, trading Tetrises with each other.
Yeah, you know, this is the first transition of the set here. You know, we had a couple early, uncharacteristic early top outs from Opaux. You kind of needed that time to warm up, I suppose, you know, but now he is absolutely cooking now. There we go, Tetris for Opaux. You know, he is right there in it. About a Tetris the difference between him and the world finalist in Sidnev.
Absolutely. Opaux knows he needs to be as efficient as possible because he's dealing with one of the biggest pace aficionados within the scene. Sidnev here, so good at just stringing those Tetrises together. But Opaux doing such a great job at keeping it within striking distance. The two players just can't stop Tetrising. 868 here for Sidnev, 837 here for Opaux. Opaux leading this game to stay alive here in the set, and he's doing his very best, but Sidnev just looking poised to try and secure a spot into the top 16.
Yeah, Sidnev trying to lock this up, secure her spot in the top 16, make sure that she is playing tomorrow. And is barely ahead, 9:29 and now 9:32. Opaux will take the lead, but Sidnev will take it back. But unfortunately, a misdrop there from Opaux. Going to cause a slight slowdown, and you know, with such a close match like this, it might make all the difference. 997 now for Sidnev. We're on level 26. 967 for Opaux. As both players have had some mishaps here up towards the top of the boards that they have to resolve. But Sidnev going to do it first. Some really clever burns. He's waiting on this bar. Finally shows. There's the Tetris for the max out here. Meanwhile, Opaux has joined her in Max Out City. We're on level 27 as we are fast approaching the level 29 transition.
Yeah, Sidnev here with 3 more Tetris available. Same story here for Opaux. So Opaux looking like he's probably going to need something on the 29. But unfortunately for him, Sidnev also very, very proficient at keeping pace on the 29 speeds. But both players here running into a slight drought here, waiting for the bar. There you go, bar for Sidnev, going to get the Tetris and just going to take the triple into 29. 100,000 point lead here, going into level 29. 1.18 million, slowly bringing this down. Currently not Tetris ready. Opaux meanwhile into 29 as well. Set up for the Tetris, gets the S piece all the way over.
Yeah, some really risky placements from Sidnev that we just saw. Had covered up the well just before the bar showed up, and with the board pretty high up, she was able to dig it down like it was nothing. And still hanging on to the lead by about a Tetris and a half. There's another one for Sidnev, and Opaux gonna hang the bar on the left and will top out at 1.171 million points. And it'll be Sidnev moving on to the top 16. All right, we got some tapping going on right now, but got our tech crew coming in to take a look at what in the world. Wait,
why don't
games are still going. Games are definitely still going. There we go. All right.
There we go. I was gonna say we could use our imagination.
Yeah, right.
And just make up things as to what are happening, but
yeah.
But this is obviously much better. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you don't have to use your imagination. You can just use your eyes, right? Use your eyeballs.
Yeah, that's good.
That's generally better for people. But here we go. We got 30 lines to go until the transition. And Tugi, look at this. You know, you don't have to imagine this. Koster is on a 90% Tetris rate still through 100 lines, but over 500K. Just a monster pace here.
Yeah, absolutely. Koster here has 3 burns available for a 670 transition. A very strong transition here in competition. Koster here getting another Tetris. 558 for Koster, 517 here for Dillan.
Yeah, Dillan looking to finish this up. Koster's tournament life is on the line. We got 20 lines to go until transition. There we go, Tetris Dillan. And you know, the thing with Dillan too Dillan, you know, a player that I believe it was 2022 or maybe it was last year. I don't remember which year, but was the tapper that advanced the furthest. The only one that made it, I believe, was the top 16. Right, it was the only one that made it to some of the later rounds. So certainly, you know, as you saw, I mean, 1.3 in that one game at level 31. Certainly proving to you that Dillan certainly a force to be reckoned with here.
Yeah,
he's now taken the lead over the Koster.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing about tapping is that obviously a lot of it comes down to how fast you can tap. Certain players can obviously just tap faster than others, but there's a certain way of stacking on 29 where players like Dillan and the one example I always use is Andy when he used to tap. He wasn't the fastest tapper, but he just had the perfect stacking on 29 for exactly his tap limitations. And Dillan is another one of those players, as we saw there, casually getting level 31 there with tap. And currently slightly behind of Koster at the moment, running into a drought now here in the seed. Ooh, Koster reopening the well. He's going to be able to get the Tetris. A monster pace here for Koster. 7:34 here for Koster. 7:14 for Dillan. So once again, a very strong game here for both players here at the top.
Yeah, again, it's a tight one here. This is really been a fun one to watch, you know, as these guys are just duking it out. They are just going crazy here. As now we can continue to use our imaginations here to see what this game looks like here.
Wow, did you see that? Australian bits,
spin.
5 and below. Oh my God. Yo, Dillan just invented a new adjustment in front of our eyes.
A new religion with that T-spin. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Right, so
yeah.
Slight technical issue. Our team is working hard to resolve it as quickly as possible.
I know. There we go. All right.
All right, so 9:14 here for Dillan on level 24. There you go, another Tetris there for Dillan. 9:61 here for Koster in the lead, but has some trouble here on this board, which is gonna be the golden opportunity here for Dillan to take the lead. Max out here on 25, another 25 max out here for Dillan.
And Koster might get one too. He's at 996.
Jesus Christ, another 25 max out.
Max out here in the top 32. To quote James Chen, what is happening here?
Both players here into level 26. 1.1 here for Dillan. Once again, he could get a 1.3 here. He can get back-to-back 1.3s. What is going on? He's got 3 burns for it to get it pre-29. Koster here, 1 Tetris behind. 1.1 now for Koster.
It was an 80-point difference just moments ago. They are pushing each other to the limit here. If either player even gives an inch, the opponent is going to take a mile here. You cannot give an inch here.
You can see there, Koster rejecting the S flat. Doesn't even want to take the single burn there. Just going to set up a tuck and is thankfully going to be able to pull it off. Koster here could enter level 29 with a high 1.2. Dillan here, same story. 1.215 here for Dillan with one more Tetris available. Oh, and actually Koster here with a higher runway. Dillan here, if Koster gets this last Tetris, then Dillan will need something here on post 29. Dillan underway into the lead, but Koster has one more Tetris available and is gonna get it into the lead by 17,000 points, but Dillan's still going. Set up for a Tetris, and is gonna get a Tetris. 1.3 here for Dillan, and Koster tops out. And Dillan, with back-to-back 1.3s with tapping, is going to advance to the top 16 of this year's CTWC.
Oh my goodness. Back-to-back 1.3s for the tapper. We almost saw a double 1.3, Tugi. That would have been nuts, even more nuts than what this already was. But, wow. I'm speechless. Seriously.
As a message to the people of the future who are going to see the Liquipedia article or whatever and see 3-0 for Dillan to Koster, please don't get it twisted. There was so much more to this matchup. It is absolutely incredible that Koster was putting in that performance and ended up losing 3-0. Dillan, an absolutely legendary performance. Forget Tapper, whatever. An absolutely legendary performance for Dillan to move on to the top 16.
It's been a tremendous day here at the World Championships. Our first day of the round 0 and 1 are complete. We go to top 16 tomorrow, all the way to our finals. Gentlemen, take it away to sign us off.
Hello everyone, I'm your underwater host Sharky, and I hope you enjoyed that banger of a match. Now I have something that I would like to remind you all before we get into the lore drop, because today's lore drop is going to be a special one. We'll be looking into the overview of all matches going in the top 16, because there are storylines that I want to showcase. Everyone's match has a special story that I feel like I must share. But before that, I wanted to remind everyone about the CTWC Esports Jerseys. Both the 2024 version and the Celebration versions are up for sale. The shirt that you see me wear in most of these lore drops is the 2024 jersey, and this is the Celebration jersey, both of which I designed. Unlike last year's YouTube release, these will be completely personalized. Do you want a name or a number on the back, or maybe both? Don't worry, I got you, I'll just add it. The 2024 jersey will cost $55 plus shipping, and the Celebration jersey will cost $65 plus shipping. Or you can get both for $100 and free shipping that includes international. Now, for more information, check out the description. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord at itsharky or Twitter at itsharky1. The deadline to order is September 8th, and then after that, it'll be gone for forever. Now, we need to talk about our pairings. Top 16 will consist of these 8 matches. Blue Scooty versus Cold Bucket, defending world champ Fractal versus Tristop, 2021 finalist Huff versus DMJ, Sodium versus the Parmesan and Flexing LXT. They are all on one side of the bracket. On the other side, we have the 2-time world champion Dog versus SV, the founder of Rolling Cheese versus Tetris TikTok star Miles, 2020 finalist Andy versus the 2023 finalist Sidnev, and the only tapper in top 16 Dillan versus the only one to get a perfect max out, Dingler. Scooty, Cole, Fractal, Tristop, Dog, SV, Cheese, Miles, Dillan, Dingler. If that doesn't get you hyped for top 16, then I don't know what will. Alright. Let's calm down a bit and dive into the first match. Now, Blue Scooty vs. Cole is a match that is bittersweet. This is a match that you would almost think that CTWC was scripted in some aspects. And for all you guys know, it could be. Alright, I'm joking. But Scooty is the first seed in this tournament, and Cole is the 16th, just barely getting a bye out of round 0. But let's step away from the Tetris a bit. I said that this match is bittersweet, and that's because these two are friends. Not just friends in the sense that, we're a tight-knit community, but they're closer than just internet buds. And that is why I say that this match is bittersweet. Scooty, one of the favorites to win the tournament, must play his friend in top 16. Cole himself has improved tremendously, but he's going to be at a disadvantage. So far this tournament, we've only had 8 upsets across both round 0 and round 1. Top 16 only consists of 2 players that aren't seeded in top 16. And one of those being Andy, who underqualified, and the other being SV. But, as we like to say, in Tetris, anything can happen. Fractal vs. Tristop is a match that if you don't watch the online events closely, you might think that it favors Fractal. And naturally, you would be mostly right. But when it comes to Tristop, he once was said to be the best player to not win a CTM's Masters event, the highest level of online competition. Going into this, there are a lot of questions to be asked. Tristop and Fractal are both great stackers on the 18 and 19 portions of the game, but 29 is the question. Does Tristop have what it takes on this crucial and difficult to play portion of the game to defeat the defending world champ? Or will Fractal once again go on a run to make his way to become a back-to-back-to-back finalist? We'll have to see. Next match, Huff vs. DMJ is an interesting one. Huff would normally be the favorite based off of historical performances, being a finalist in 2021, semi-finalist in 2020, and top 8 in both 2022 and 2023. This is DMJ's second time in top 16, his first being in 2022. If DMJ can win here, it would officially be DMJ's best CTWC since his debut in 2021. But if Huff wins, it will be the 5th CTWC in a row that Huff has at least placed top 8. This will be DMJ's toughest opponent yet, but also remember, Huff was one game away from being eliminated and had to reverse sweep Wallbant to make it here. so maybe the pieces might fall in DMJ's favor. We'll have to see. Now, Sodium versus Alex T. I'm gonna be frank with you guys, Sodium is at the disadvantage here. In his interview, Sodium said that he didn't believe that he and Alex T played each other, and Sodium does have one small advantage over Alex T, and that would be the sheer consistency of his level 18 play. They're about even on level 19 speeds, but the glaring difference is when it comes to level 29. Level 29 is Alex T's playground, and has been ever since he's been a tapper. So the question is, can Sodium build up enough of a lead in the early game to make up for the aggression and consistency of Alex T's 29 play? Or will one of the favorites to win the entire tournament continue on his path to another top 8 placement, at the minimum? Now, we get into the other half of the bracket, and thanks for sticking with me so far. Trust me, it will be worth it. Dog vs SV is a rematch of what happened last year. In 2023, they met in top 16, similar to how they are this year. Last year, it was a close call, and Dog just barely won in a decider. So this match was not an easy one for Dog in the past. And you can infer that neither are too thrilled having to face each other at this point in the bracket again. SV is one of 2 Europeans left in the tournament, and the only one from Team UK left. So not only does he have that kind of pressure on him, but now he has to play up against the 2-time world champ who since his debut has always gotten top 4 or better. The path is certainly going to be a tough one, and it's up to SV to see it through. Now, Cheese vs Miles is actually a little bit of a toss-up, because on one hand, you have the father of rolling, who revolutionized the game in such a way that his legacy will be forever remembered. But then, on the other hand, you have a player that is known for his insane ability to get out of crazy situations. So much so that he's even had things like Miles Dig named after himself. Of course, I'm referring to Cheese in the former and Miles in the latter. This match is a bit uncertain because we haven't seen Cheese play in recent times, and he was absent in last year's CTWC. And as for Miles, this is his second time making it to top 16, but he hasn't placed in the top 8 in CTWC so far. So this one is up to you to decide who has the advantage, the father of the playstyle, or the player known for ludicrous survival. Sidnev vs Andy is next. Now, normally I would say that this match is fairly even, but at this particular juncture, Andy is at a disadvantage. He does have an injured hand, so it remains to see how much in this match how that will impact up against Sidnev. Now, in Sidnev's case, they are one of the 2 Europeans left in the bracket at this point in time. I'd wager that Sidnev is walking into this with a chip on the shoulder, being 1 game away from being the first non-American to win a CTWC definitely stung. So if Sidnev defeats Andy here, it will be the first time that Andy hasn't placed top 8 in a CTWC. The cards stacked against him, can Andy make it to top 8 again, or will it be Sidnev, one of 2 of Europe's last hope? And last but not least, Dillan vs Dingler. This is the only tapper versus roller matchup this late in the tournament. However, since that is the playstyle difference, that means that Dillan will be at a disadvantage. Now, as what you saw in today's video, he can definitely throw down on the pre-29 and even get some points on post-29. But the issue is his opponent is known as the Pace King. Not only that, but he has greater playability on 29 to supplement his play, should he lack on the 18 and 19 portions of the game. Dillan will have to do something incredible to advance in the bracket, but if he does, it will be something that will be always remembered as the highest placing tapper in the modern day of classic competitive Tetris. Alright, I know this was a long lore drop, but I mentioned it over the past few lore drops, that there's just simply a lot of storylines to tell. Now, you might hear me regurgitate some of these things in future lore drops across the top 16, but now you know of what to be thinking of as you're going into watching these matches. Also, because of the long lore drop, that is why today's video is late, so I apologize. I know, right? You guys get an in-video apology? It's crazy. However, that being said, if you are still watching, definitely be sure to let me know by including lore drops somewhere in your comments, if of course you decide to comment. Alright, so if you enjoyed the match, don't forget to leave a like. Comment down your favorite moment. Me, simply game 3 between Dillan and Koster easily takes the cake. That is probably the best tapper versus tapper game ever in the modern era. Now, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you really want to support CTWC, become a channel member today. And remember, you have until the 8th to make an order for the CTWC 2024 and Celebration Jerseys. Once they're gone, they're gone. I know, long outro today, but I'm your underwater host Sharky, and I'll see you tomorrow for the first round of top 16 here in CTWC 2024.